this is Jackie, and I'm here with We the Kings. We are at the Virginia Beach stop of Vans Warped Tour, the first of my web series called Watch What You Say. We have pulled comments from We the Kings YouTube videos. They are actual comments, and now we will get some actual responses.
Just kind of reading through these. They're pretty offensive. Okay, here we go. So on the YouTube video for Check Yes Juliet, at Poochie Collins, Carrot Top's younger, hipper years. That's actually a nice comment. That's.
Is Carrot Top no longer hip?
Well, have you seen Carrot Top? Like,
I have.
I like the fact that I read younger, so that's the word that pops out to me.
Like the younger word?
Is he's been through years. Anyways, at Alex Miller, We the Kings, I have to ask you something. Cut that hair of yours. It's so long. You look like a girl. Cut the hair and stick with Spy Cara, please. Your hair is too long.
I just don't see the question in there.
Worst question ever.
Yeah.
So maybe it should have been Alex Miller. Maybe you should have said, We the Kings, I have to ask you nothing, instead of I have to ask you something.
Or We the Kings have to ask you something. Will you cut that hair?
Or at least put a question mark. There's no question mark.
Editing matters.
Maybe you cut the question out. Maybe they were getting to the no. Okay, got it.
They teach you these things for a reason.
Oh, here's another one about the hair. Toxic Muffin says, wash your hair, hippie.
Coming from Toxic Muffin.
Consider the source.
Yeah.
Well, I assume that they're talking about you.
Yeah.
Oh, you think they've been talking about me this entire time?
Hair. I'm a dirty, dirty hippie.
All right, for the YouTube video on Skyway Avenue, Lisa Ayala says, I miss the old We the Kings.
So do I.
I don't really know what to say to that. So, we play all the old songs live. Have you been to a show?
Come to work for it.
At I Hate Baloney 59, cool song, lame video. It was our first video we ever did. You got to cut us a break. We did it for like $300. It's a little lame. You're right. At Rye Bread Music Studios, is this an actual music studio? His music is so soulful. ... We can all guess what the next three words are. For a ginger. I can't believe they called you a ginger, dude. This is insane right now.
You never listened to UB40.
At Joshua,
Simply Red.
at Joshua Prick. Why does he look like Kesha? Kesha and I have the same parents. I mean, it's pretty simple. I just want one person to see this.
How is your sister doing?
She's great. She put out new music last year.
I saw that. Good for her.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she's doing well.
I just want one person to see this and be like, I didn't know. They must be siblings. At the Angry Emo Nerd. Mediocre pop rock music. That's going to be our new genre. When we sit next to people on the plane, they'll be like, what kind of music do you play? Mediocre pop rock music.
Love that.
Yeah, we're right in the middle, right down the center of the lane. Not very good, not very bad. We own this area.
Do you like mayonnaise?
Vegan mayonnaise. Vegenaise. Thank you guys for your horrible comments. I noticed these are only on YouTube, Check Yes Juliet, and Skyway Avenue. So maybe as the years have gone by when we release new music, maybe the comments get less offensive. Or more offensive. Probably more offensive.
Well, you know what? Then let's talk about new music and see where we go from there. Woo!
Sorry.
See, he's beating me up.
I apologize.
He got really excited. That's what happens when you
I
read.
just wanted to zoom in on you.
Yeah, when you read mean comments, I mean, it gets to you.
violent.
It
I
gets to
turn
you.
green.
Well, new music. 6 came out last week. I'm old.
We
other
actually
day.
figured this out 17 minutes ago. It came out 6 days ago because it came out at midnight, and we were trying to figure out what that means. So it came out midnight of 6 nights ago.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So, why was this the right time to release new music?
Just because we had it. I mean, there's no like this is the moment in the world where this needs to be heard or whatever. But we've been a band for a little longer than a decade, and every 2 years we put out music. And that just kind of seems to be our cycle. You know, we tour for a year and then go into the studio for 6 months and then record for a couple months and then put out the record and then tour that record for about a year and then get back into the writing mode and then studio and then, you know, it's this vicious cycle that we've been on.
But it's not calculated, it just kind of happens to be how things happen.
Yeah, it's I think there was a time where we were just like, let's put out a new record. Let's at least promise our fans every other year we'll put out a record. So we did 07, 09, 11, 13, 15, skipped 17. Well, actually, we kind of did a 17. We did like an acoustic record that was called Self-Titled Nostalgia, where we did all those songs but done acoustically in like a different way. It was really cool.
We were all having babies at that time. That's why it was hard to do a record.
That's actually very true. Yeah, when you procreate, it delays everything else. Yeah, it delays everything else in your career. But we did just release a record, like I said, 6 midnights ago, and it's also so we'll tour this record, and we'll just continue writing. It's what we love doing. If we weren't in a band, we'd still write.
So who or what are some things that inspired your songwriting this time around?
Babies, for sure. I mean, yeah, we've always had love songs, but like this is our opportunity. Like we feel like a different kind of love right now. We're just we go home off tour, and you're just like you're sweaty and stinky, and like where our wives would have been like, go shower, like our kids
dirty hippie.
Yeah, you dirty hippie. Our kids run, they jump on us, like it's awesome. So he's got 2. We have 6 kids total within the band.
Oh well, I mean, it just full circle. 6 albums, 6 offspring.
So, oh my gosh, see, had I known, had we talked about that, you said, is there any reason that 6 came out now? I'd been like, well,
maybe
it's because there's 6 babies.
I'll put it in the write-up.
Yeah, thanks. Edit that, But I think that we've grown a lot over the past, not even like past 2 years since our last record, but from first record to now, we are the same as far as like musicianship and our friendship has between each other has just grown so much. We're absolute brothers in the band. Our love life, our career, everything's just kind of grown, and our fans have grown too. So we're just kind of finding inspiration in different things than we were when we were, just starting out. Like there's party songs, but it's in a way of like friendship and not, getting drunk and trying to find like a girl to hook up with.
Imagine that. Like, that's maturity. Like, growth. That's growth. So how...
Our moms would be so proud.
So then how do you go about choosing your set list for Warped when you've got such a varied repertoire?
It's tough. It's actually really hard. We pick about 20 songs, and we go into rehearsal, and, we just start saying, like, okay, well, there's no physical possible way that we could ever play 20 songs at Warped Tour, so let's do 10. And then we, scope it down to 10, and then we're just like, oh, there's no possible way that we could play 10 songs at Warped Tour, so then we just, scope it down. It really is hard. So, like, if we played, now that we have 6 records out, if we played one song off of every single record that we put out, there's only room for one more song left. So it's like, it's really tough. You want to, like, cater to fans that came and heard us from the very first Warped Tour that they went to and play older stuff. At the same time, you want to promote your new album. So, I think for us, honestly, it's easy with like the streaming services where like Spotify will show you like the top 10 songs that your fans are listening to in the States, and you'll be like, all right, let's just pick the top. Yeah, exactly. Done.
That's not a terrible way to go about it. I mean, that way that they're going to enjoy it.
And it's been nice. We have one song that just recently did really well on radio and went gold for us, which is awesome, was a song called Sad Song. And so whereas a lot of people who might be watching are like, oh, that's that Check Yes Juliet band, we actually have a song that's bigger than Check Yes Juliet, which is crazy for us. It was just kind of a resurgence of our career. But because it is a ballad, it's tough to play at Warped Tour, so we kind of redid the song in a Warped Tour vibe and kind of made it special. So it's not like if you're listening to like our Spotify playlist or whatever, and they're just like, that's not what you're going to hear when you come here, because we try to like amp everything up. I've always said that I think we're a better live band than we are on our records. There's just something that you can't capture in the recording that is that essence that we like to really showcase live.
So you mentioned both radio and music streaming. The music industry has clearly evolved in the 10 years you guys have been together. Mm-hmm. Would you prefer, or is there a focus more on music streaming or radio airplay, or do you appreciate that it's now so divergent that you kind of shoot for both?
I don't know. I mean, it's nice that music has, every, platform to get out on as compared to what it used to be. So it's a blessing. At the same time, there's so much music out there, so it doesn't make it difficult for listeners. I myself as a listener find it difficult at times, but it is a blessing. It's music you get out to the public. Back in the day, you used to have to hand mixtapes to people, like, check out my band. So nowadays,
we kind of came out at a time like just before streaming. Like our first record came out in 2007, and while there was YouTube, yes, and Pure Volume and Napster, like you know, there all these different like streaming sites. It was still very much you needed to get your music out there physically. So we would go to radio stations. We would play little acoustic songs or whatever, and then they would add it. So like we kind of got in at a time where the scope was smaller. I can't even imagine like being a band in like the 60s or 70s where like you can't even email somebody a song. You literally have to go take your cassette or whatever to them and say like, okay, play it, and then if you like it, write me.
Send me a letter.
Send me a phone call. So it's just different now, but I think that we got in at a time that was much easier, and I mean that as all respect to the artists that are coming out now. It's got to be so tough to be a band now and break as an artist because there's so much oversaturation with music. As a fan, it's great because if you don't like one thing, you can just keep listening, and you'll eventually find something that you like.
So is there a role for tangible CDs now, or is that not as strong
Those
of
are
a...
considered vintage now.
Yeah.
So am I.
I think it's nice, it's download, it's streaming services and vinyl because there's that retro feel to it. Vinyl records have a place now. I see more bands selling those than they do CDs.
Yeah.
As far as the audio quality.
And there's still like a lot of people, especially like We the Kings fans, that really enjoy having like something to hold. Like I love that they download the album on iTunes or stream it or whatever. But it is nice seeing people come up to like our meet and greets and signings that have like our album cover and that they want that signed. Because I went in and would go in and look at all the lyric sheets. Now you have lyric videos, so it's just kind of a change of the times. And we make CDs, we make vinyls, but I think it's more of as like a keepsake rather than it is a workable option. Although you can totally put they would work.
I do miss it though, because it's personal. Like when you get that record, that's your record, that's your booklet, that's your thing.
Totally.
I miss those days.
Sitting there like on your bed, laying down on your bed, reading all the lyrics, learning the lyrics that way.
With that being said, we are making actual physical copies. Even though the record came out, we put it out so fast that we didn't have the physical copies made. So we've been like at our merch table, we'll sell like the download cards for iTunes. But I think in like a couple weeks we actually get the physical copies that will be in stores and like people can order, and it's cool. Like I'm definitely gonna steal one from our merch table, 100%. I know a guy.
That's good nostalgia there. I think that works. Plans for more music videos?
Yes, actually we just started talking. So we did our last video that we did was for a song called Sad Song. That was the song that was working as a single, and the company that did it was Clearwater Film and Music Company, and they paid for our video. It was kind of like a collaboration, and they were like, hey, the video did so well, do you guys want to do another one? And we're like, like free video obviously, right. But at the same time I feel like music videos are kind of like CDs. Like they're a little bit useless now. I mean they can really
channel, damn it.
That is like music television or something like that, or like maybe the acronym for it. But you know what I mean, like people now have lyric videos, which they, as artists we can make for like $100 unless we're good at it. And that's our lyric video for Sad Song has 145 million views. So by streaming services alone, that song, or by the lyric video alone, the song is almost platinum, which is equivalent to 1 million sales. Like that's crazy. So when you have that, it's like getting the guys together and making this video and having to pay for it. It's a little harder to like make sense of.
So we've been talking this whole time about kind of like how the music industry has evolved. So what does success look or feel like for you guys in 2018?
You got this one, Cole.
It's hard to say now because we like to work, we like to do it, but we're trying to balance family life with the life of a musician because we want to do both passionately and as best we can. So
it's ironic.